Hello, families. There is a new law in Alaska about student reading, and I really thought that y'all needed um, to understand what's in that law so you can understand some changes that you'll be seeing this school year and continuing on from here. So it's called the Alaska Reads Act. It was signed into law a little over a year ago, but it's taken some time to figure out what that law actually entails. Um, the new law, uh, it's a new law that aims to support all students to read by grade level at the end of third grade. Great goal. It's based on the science of reading. The science of reading is kind of a conglomeration of all the best evidence for how to teach reading skills. And so it should guide how teachers teach. What does this law require in a nutshell? There is so much that it requires, but really what matters the most here in the classroom is primary teachers are required to take classes so they understand what to teach and how. Reading specialists, so the people who work with the kids who struggle the most, are required to take more in-depth classes. Districts are required to use literacy curriculums that are founded in the science of reading and are supposed to get good results. Teachers are required to use a literacy screener that is like quickly tests whether a child is struggling or not. Teachers are required to update parents regularly if their child is struggling about their progress. Teachers are required to provide a lot of extra instruction for students who are struggling. And if a child continues to struggle by the end of the year, I am supposed to start a discussion about whether possible retention is the next good step. Required science of reading classes for teachers. K through third grade teachers are required to take these classes by the beginning of next school year, so we have a year to take those classes. I took a course required for reading specialists, so I am very well trained. It was called Letters. It required about 20 hours per month of reading, online work, and Zoom classes. And it focused on the science of reading. So I feel really well prepared to meet the needs of this law. The required teacher training. Pro. All the teachers should have this information. It might not have been required in their teacher training program, which is a shame. I didn't get this information in my teacher training program. I started learning it at student teaching. Also, requiring these classes be completed this school year is a reasonable amount of time for teachers to make it work into their schedule. And when teachers know better, we can do better. So that's good. Information is better. Con. Not all teachers have this training yet, but this law expects us to implement the science of reading during this school year before some people have the information they need to do a better job. Districts must adopt one of the literacy curriculums that's approved by the state. Okay? Some of our teachers in our district are piloting a curriculum called CKLA. Piloting means a few, like in big districts, a few schools will try it and see how it works. In our district, we're just one school, so a few teachers are trying it. I'm not one of those people piloting it because I took that letters class last year. They thought it would be better if some other people got that extra support. I felt confident that I could do what I did last year. Pros. All the approved curriculums from the state follow the science of reading, so that's great. Better curriculum should result in better results. That would make sense. And again, when teachers know better, they can do better. Some cons. Even while districts are piloting this curriculum, they're still required to provide great results. It's a new curriculum. They don't know if it's that good yet. They don't know if it works for them. New curriculums take a lot of training and extra work for teachers to get the hang of them. So this is a lot more time and energy. And I don't know if you've noticed, but teachers don't tend to work exactly their shift. Like me, it is now 7:30 at night and I am making this video. One of the requirements is teachers must use an approved literacy screener to identify students who are struggling. We're using a screener called DIBBLE, And it involves 6 1-minute tests, little quick tests. Most students will be tested at least 3 times a year. So fall, winter, and spring. Students are aiming for accuracy, so reading exactly what's there, and speed. Because if it takes them too long to think of the letter or think of the sound or think of the word, they don't really have it yet. First grade students are tested in letter identification, segmenting words orally. So I'd say cat and they say k-at. Letter sounds, reading nonsense words. So they have to be able to sound out a word correctly and blend it together, but it can't be a word they've already seen before because they might have it memorized. Reading sight words, and then also just reading a story. So those are the tests. Oh, and there's also a little spelling test where now they're going to type in some words. Using the Dibbles Literacy Screener. Pros, 10 minutes per screening. They claim it's 6 minutes. It's not. So 10 minutes. Doesn't take too long. Speed is important in literacy, so it's good that that's a component of it. The company called Amplify, which created Dibbles, follows the science of reading, so that's really good. They are basing this in the science. Cons. For first graders, I think the fall and the winter screeners are far too hard for first graders. I think it creates a lot of false negatives. It will put more children into the struggling reader category than should be there. Also, the screener uses a really difficult font for first graders. If I change the font to a more simple font like this, or to Comic Sans, which a lot of elementary teachers love, they could do a lot better, but it uses a really funky font. Informing parents of their child's skills and growth. This is another part of the law. Initial screening in the fall, parents are to be informed if their child is behind. Students who struggle, parents will be updated on their child's progress every month. We'll need to check in and see if they're improving every month, and then we'll let parents know. Students who really struggle, we're going to check in with them every 2 weeks and inform parents how they're doing. Informing parents of their child's skill and growth. Pro, parents are kept in the loop. That's great. And parents can find out how to help their child. If we know specifically what your child needs, we can give you some suggestions. Cons. Most of my students will need this individualized reading plan, will need me to do all this extra assessing and testing because the screener is so hard. I think this year I have 3 children who will not need all this extra work. This law and this requirement will take many more meetings, a lot more testing, a lot more paperwork. Again, it's not like I was zooming out of here at 4 p.m. So this is going to be a big ask of every primary teacher. Helping students who struggle. All first grade students will receive 120 minutes of reading instruction. That's pretty much my entire morning is all reading instruction, all literacy. Students who struggle should receive an extra 30 minutes of reading instruction 3 times a week in a small group, possibly after school. Students who really struggle receive 45 extra minutes 5 days a week of instruction in a smaller group or even one-on-one, possibly after school. Helping students who struggle. Pro! Students who need more help can get it. That would be so awesome. Con. There literally is not enough time in the school day to meet all these requirements. Because for that to be extra help for low students, it needs to be a smaller group. We don't have extra time in our day. Also, there aren't enough staff in our school to meet those requirements. So it's a nice goal, but it's not actually possible. That's what's frustrating. Students who don't catch up by the end of the year. A discussion will happen near the end of the year about whether retention is a good next step. I don't like having those conversations with parents. I only have them if I really think it's the next best step. But if child's still struggling, I have to start that conversation now. It does not mean it's required, but we got to start looking at that and seeing if that is really the best option. Generally, retaining a child is best in kindergarten or first grade. That is when you're laying the foundation, because if they don't have a foundation, they're going to struggle every year. So this year, or kindergarten, is really the year to retain a student. It's still okay later, but this is the time to do it. So a lot is going to be put on me to do that with students who might need it. What does this all mean? Teachers will be working very hard to make sure students get the instruction and are being kept track of. We're going to be working really extra hard this year. Not that I wasn't doing this anyways, but now I have to document everything a lot more. But I'm not a magician. I cannot be in 2 different places working with 2 different groups at once, and we don't have the staff to. I cannot create extra time in the school day where there just isn't any. Kids also need recess, they need lunch, they need PE, music, art, library, counseling, they need math. And we need a lot of social skills work, we need some social studies, we need some science, we need some health. Otherwise, when they go to read, they have no concept of all the vocabulary words because they have no experience with any of these other ideas. So that's the thing, is we can't wring out more time in a school day. I try to be very efficient, but I can't just create more time. I also cannot make a child have better attendance or do their homework. I can't drag them out of bed, and I can't say, sit down and do the work that you need to do. I can only do that during the school day. Parents, so this comes to you. Your child really needs you to help them with their reading at home. How can parents help? The basic needs. It's sad I have to say this, but ensuring your child has gotten enough sleep so they wake up not cranky, is getting healthy food, not full of sugar, and that they have good attendance. Because I cannot teach a child if they're falling asleep. I've taught kids like that. I cannot teach a child who is full of sugar, and I cannot teach a child who's not even here. My children who struggle the most usually have one of those or a lot of those. Not every child, but my ones who struggle the most tend to. Extra help. If the school says your child needs extra help, please work with us to make that happen. It might be after school. It might be they're doing something at home with you. It might be just even a little online program that they do at home, but we just can't fit it all into our school day. Also, at-home reading. Please read to your child daily. I know it's a big ask on busy days, especially single parents. That is so hard, but it's important. Please also listen to your child read every day. I cannot go around and listen to every single child read individually, but that's kind of what they require. They need someone right there to say, nope, you read that wrong. Oh, here's how to sound that word out. They need someone to do that, but I'm only one person. Also, please help your child with any reading homework. I will eventually be sending home reading homework. Your child will need to do it to get all of that extra practice. So hopefully they will catch up this year, and we won't have to be having those difficult discussions at the end of the year. And then they will stay with their class in the following years. Whew, that's the end. That was a lot of information. This weight has been weighing me down. I have been not sleeping well. I have been very stressed out by this law. This is my 18th year teaching, and most of it has been in first grade. I am well trained for what I do. I know what I'm doing, but even I find this law to be impossible to completely follow, even though the goal is really good. So, parents, please help as much as you can this year with your child in their reading, because I just can't do it alone.